Greetings, everybody. This is Leviathan here, and today we've got finally the patch 2.6.9. Hey, nice. PTR information for you guys. First of all, happy 8th year celebration of Diablo 3 being released. It is May 15th, 2020 as I make this video, which means we've had Diablo 3 out and available for 8 years. So I just felt like mentioning that at the top. Nice that we also get some new news here. In 8 years of the game, we're still getting updates and patches. Pretty sweet. This is 2.6.9, so it's the next patch for the game that will coincide with Season 21. And as you know, they've been adding sets and such for each class, one additional set, and that does not differ here. So we have finally the last two sets, the Demon Hunter and the Necromancer. We'll get into the details of that. And we also have the new seasonal theme, so that kind of lets you know up front what we're looking at for this coming PTR. It does start, it'll be 2 weeks in duration, as you can see here, 2-week PTR testing period on May 21st. So that is less than 1 week from today. That's next Thursday. There's no time here, as you can see, because usually they don't want to subscribe themselves to an exact time and then miss that window. Sometimes it comes right in the middle of the day on Thursday. Sometimes it comes very late at the end of Thursday, so we'll see if they hit their mark and it launches without a hitch. But, you know, set your time for that, your schedule, whatever. Be some nice weekend testing for sure. And again, we have 2 weeks. So what you want to know, of course, is all the juicy details. I'll link to this blog post in the video description so that you can have exactly all the details to read on your own. I'm going to skim through a lot of stuff. There's going to be 2 buffs up for PTR, which is double blood shards and increased legendary drop rate as per usual. You'll also have the PTR vendor dank meme to help you expedite your testing. You can buy bags of essentially all the updated items and stuff. So here it's going to be a big focus on the Demon Hunter and the Necromancer. So you'll definitely want to go ahead and test those, do some focus testing as they ask, and feedback. Because, you know, if you want these sets to come out well and actually be relevant on day 1 of the new patch in the Season 21, then you want to make sure you test them and give them really good feedback. As always, more stuff, try to break stuff, PTR, blah, blah, blah. Do all the testing that you can. Next up here is the seasons. So this is the seasonal theme for Season 21. It's called Trials of Tempests. Your character will occasionally, every 2 minutes, channel an elemental power which unleashes into the environment for a limited time one of these things. Meteors rain from the skies around you. You breathe lightning. A wall of flame engulfs everything. You release twisters of pure energy, and you crush your foes under the weight of rolling snowballs. So some of these things sound like similar to Season 19's theme, where you were releasing these elemental things, but those were based on kill streaks and hitting certain milestones in those kill streaks. I imagine there's probably going to be some borrowed assets from that. Some of these also do sound like attacks in the game already, like the snowballs kind of reminds me of the Yetis in Act 3, Ruins of Sescheron. I'm guessing that's probably what that'll look like. Some of these meteors from the sky, like breathing lightning. All these things you can kind of imagine as things that are already in the game. Obviously, they're not creating brand new stuff for this. How powerful it will obviously be seen on the PTR. I'm guessing it probably will. I don't know if they're going to try to make it as extravagant as Season 19, where it was just insane. Everything essentially mattered based on these powers that got released. This also sounds interesting because it's occasionally every 2 minutes. So I guess the occasionally you can just scrap that, and this essentially reads that every 2 minutes you're going to release one of these things. So there is a timing aspect to that. You know, when you spawn your Rift Guardian, do you miss the window? Seems kind of an interesting one to play around. I'm not sure if I like it already. I have to wait, reserve my opinion for when I actually get to test it. But if it gives me tinges of Season 19, I'm already a little worried about that. But well, again, we'll see how powerful it is and how cumbersome it is to play around, etc. Now for the juice. Especially, you know me as a Demon Hunter fan, I was very curious to see what we would get for both updates to things for the Demon Hunter that already exist and also the new set. So here it is for the new set, Gears of Dreadlands. 2-piece bonus, you get a momentum stack when you attack with a primary skill, which is like your grenades, hungering arrow, bolas, etc., those skills. Each momentum stack lasts 2 seconds at a maximum duration of 10 seconds. Not sure what that means. Your primary skills deal 10% more damage, sounds like a multiplier, per stack of momentum. So, you get a momentum stack when you attack with a primary skill. Each one lasts for 2 seconds up to a max duration of 10 seconds. So it sounds like you can increase that stack amount, or the duration amount, as you get more stacks perhaps. Because I mean, obviously at some points you can attack way faster than one attack per second, or at least more than one attack per every 2 seconds. So you should be able to stack these up, and then you're going to get a multiplier per stack of momentum, 10%. Yeah, I'll be curious to see how that actually plays out if you're just like spamming, you know, evasive fire, grenades or something, how many stacks you can realistically get. We will see. The 4-piece bonus, as per usual, deals with damage reduction. Casting Strafe against enemies will automatically shoot your last used primary skill, and also gives 60% damage reduction while you're strafing and for 5 seconds after. While casting Strafe, you move faster per stack of momentum. Interesting. So you're getting a damage reduction here. It looks like as you strafe, you will always shoot the last primary skill that you utilize. So say that you threw out a Hungering Arrow. As you strafe, now you'll just be shooting out a bunch of Hungering Arrows, I guess. Unless it only happens as soon as you start strafing, only that one time. That sounds a little unclear, but we'll see the gameplay when we can test. And then while you're casting Strafe, you move faster per stack of momentum. I wonder what the percent is here. It'd be nice to know if there was an exact number there on the movement per stack, but I guess we'll find out. So this sounds like it could add some sort of interesting speed farm setup or something. And if this is the case where I'm wrong and you do continue to cast your primary skill, then it essentially is going to refresh this 2-piece and you'll continue to keep this movement bonus. So it could make for some really interesting like speed farming, etc. And then the 6-piece bonus is usually the big juice. You have a huge damage multiplier here, 10,000% more damage on your primary skills. So as you can see, this is a primary skill focused set, like a generator set essentially, and Strafe has some sort of interplay in there as being a skill that is also utilized. So it sounds like you're going to fill your bar with a couple of generators, maybe 2, and then have Strafe and some of those other things you usually have, like pet, like a companion, vengeance, etc. And some of the other items that support the primary skills were updated as well. So the Leonine Bow of Hashir. Your bolas now have a 100% chance on explosion to pull in all enemies within 24 yards, and they deal 100 to 150% increased damage. And you also previously had a MMI's Duffel. This is a quiver that was for bolas, and now it explodes instantly, your bolas, and deal 150 to 175% increased damage. So you have some nice bola support here. This one sounds very good potentially, because anything where you can get a nice pull and it's free essentially is major for pushing high tier GRs, because you want to be able to have enemies consistently pulled into a tight spot to benefit the most from area damage. So I could see maybe bolas with these 2 items, whether cubed or used, are going to become some of the key factors in here. That's at least my first thought. Hungering Arrow. This seems really powerful now. The 9th series satchel, this is a quiver as well. Hungering Arrow is now guaranteed to pierce, no chance anymore, and also deals 450 to 600% increased damage. So this is like your single target as this continues to pierce. There's some runes I think that increase damage as Hungering Arrow pierces and such. So you can imagine like you're against your Rift Guardian, you got your Hungering Arrows and they're just going off and piercing and piercing and piercing and doing increased damage. Like this could be a really crazy single target. Curious to test that for sure. Maybe a boss killer, maybe this is how you kill your RGs with this build, so you would have like a bolas to do your trash and a Hungering Arrow to kill your single target. Lastly, a couple more things here. Odyssey's End, this is a bow. Enemies snared by your entangling shots take 100 to 150% increased damage from all sources. That helps both, obviously, the actual Demon Hunter, but the Z Demon Hunter, so support DHs, have used this in the past. This is an interesting way to increase the damage that enemies will take, and you could take that into groups. This could be... the thing is, like, you have so many of these powers now, and they overlap certain slots, so it's going to be tough to benefit from all of them at the same time. I'll be curious to see what players end up wanting to take in their final builds. Hunter's Wrath, this is a belt. Your primary skills attack 30% faster and deal 150 to 200% increased damage, so this will be mandatory for the generator, or for this set. That is your belt slot taken up. Pretty good buff there, though. And then nice throw a bone to impale here at the end. Holy Point shot. The quiver is staying the same, except you are now also getting 75 to 100% increased damage. So there's a little range on there, which is going to make this item, which is already hard to get itemized well, even harder to itemize well, because you have a range on the power. But that does sound like a nice increase. So double damage, essentially. We'll see how much that powers this setup by. But I'm happy to see that as someone who enjoys Impale quite a bit. It's essentially my favorite build in the game. Now onto the Necromancer, a class I know much less about, but they are also the last one here to get a new set in this patch. So it's called Masquerade of Burning Carnival. 2 set piece, your Simulacrums no longer take damage, gain all runes, and its cooldown is refreshed when you die. Your Simulacrums. So I'm guessing this is from the Simulacrum skill. So this is where I'll have to rely on you Necromancers to let me know how good this is or not. Definitely hop into the comments and comment on this set if you think it's going to be good or not. Simulacrums no longer take damage, they gain all runes, and its cooldown is refreshed when you die. While you have a Simulacrum, your damage is reduced by 50%. Damage you take is split with your Simulacrums as well. Interesting. And 6-piece bonus, your Bone Spear deals 10,000% increased damage. Simulacrums gain triple this bonus. So I guess they cast your skills as well. And it's weird that they went with Bone Spear here, because Bone Spear already has synergy within the Pestilence set. So it's like another way to do Bone Spear, I guess. But this certainly sounds like it'll be way more powerful. Huh, alright. Yeah, let me know what you guys think on that one. I don't have too many opinions there. Not a huge Necromancer player. They updated Grasps of Essence, which are gloves. When an exploded corpse damages at least one enemy, your corpse explosion deals 150 to 200% increased damage for 6 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So basically just doubled that. Haunted Visions, which is the Simulacrum Amulet. Simulacrum now drains 1% of your max life every second and lasts forever. They can now duplicate Grim Scythe instead of Skeletal Mage. They can. Interesting. Wow, that's pretty nuts. So it lasts forever. So you just have to basically deal with the fact that your life is being drained 1%. If you can circumvent this drain, then you're basically good to go. And this just goes on and on and on. I wonder if it'll allow you to kill yourself, or if it just takes you down to 1 HP and then something else will kill you. Pretty interesting. I mean, obviously this is huge synergy into the new set. Razet's Volition. Skeletal Mage gains the effect of the Gift of Death and Singularity runes. You gain 35 to 50% damage reduction if your essence is not full. Huh. That's kind of interesting. So there's going to be a change later where they kind of nerfed the Reaper's Wraps bracers, but then they gave some of the utility back here to Skeletal Mage Singularity. So I'm not sure if they're trying to kill rats or help them or what, but that's an interesting change. Jesseth Arms is the set piece, the 2-piece set bonus for the Scythe and Shield. While your skeletons are commanded to attack a target, you deal 400% increased damage. Interesting. So that just gives you a better damage bonus as your skeletons are commanded. Okay. Grace of Inarius boost here. 4-piece set bonus. Bone Armor grants an additional 3% damage reduction per enemy hit. Just more toughness there. Okay. Feels like Inarius needs more than that, but I guess this is a step in the right direction. Pestilence Master Shroud, 6-piece set bonus. Each corpse you consume grants you an empowered Bone Spear charge that increases the damage of your next Bone Spear by 3,300%. In addition, Corpse Lance and Corpse Explosion damage is increased by from 1,650 to 3,300, so they doubled it. So yeah, this is what I was mentioning, like Bone Spear is already in this set, which is kind of interesting that they chose Bone Spear as the skill in the new set. It is what it is. Crusader, Shield of Fury, this is a nerf. This effect may now stack up to 10 times. So they did say that they were going to continue to address the Aegis of Valor Crusader build with Heaven's Fury because it's really strong even still after they kind of sort of nerfed it. It's still like way outperforming a lot of other builds. We'll see what this does to bring it down into the realm of acceptability perhaps. I imagine the build will still be quite strong. Some other changes here are kind of unexpected. Stone of Jordan now has a legendary power, so that means you can also cube a Stone of Jordan now. It's pretty cool. All elemental damage bonuses to skills are now equal to your highest elemental bonus to skills. So that's particularly cool if you play a build that has multiple elements. More often than not, you don't. You usually pick, one element to build around. So you say I do multi-shot arsenal. Like now I want to stack fire elemental damage. But if there was another skill in there that you also wanted to simultaneously use, then you could potentially go with this Stone of Jordan and then not even have to worry about stacking both fire and lightning or something, right? You could just do the Stone of Jordan and now you're lightning is just as good as your fire in terms of the bonuses because of this ability, or this legendary power. I feel like this will maybe... I have to think about that one and how it will be utilized. It sounds interesting, so I guess that's a good place to start, right? It makes me think about what I can do with that, so I like it. Reaper's Reps, like I mentioned before, there's a 2-second internal cooldown to the health globe effect. I wonder if this kills rats. This definitely doesn't make them as good as they used to be, so that's good. Also the fact that it doesn't look like the Season 20 Kanai's Cube unlocked is going to be core to the game or anything like that, so also rats could just be dead from that aspect as well, which means, you know, welcome in your new Witch Doctor speed farming, unless some of these new builds factor into that. We'll see. Mantle Channeling, and now works with Necromancer's Siphon Blood. That's cool. And then Convention of Elements got a thing added here, non-static to the wording of the legendary powers description. Functionality is unchanged. I don't know why that clarification was needed, but whatever. If it makes it more clear, that's good. Some skill changes here. The Necromancer, your final service was your cheat death on the Necromancer. No longer consumes your pets. That's really nice. Because there are times where if you proc and your pets all go away, then you're basically just done for. Like, there goes all your damage if you're a pet build, etc. So that's nice. Bone Prisons, Simulacrums now benefit from this passive skill. I wish they had done the hover so that we could see what the actual like passives and things say, but they didn't include that. So for some of these I don't know. Can't give you too much here. Serration, Simulacrums now benefit from this passive skill. I think these are mostly like damage buffs. Corpse Explosion, damage increase from 350 to 1050%. Wow. So this skill is just better as a base. I think this makes this a really good skill for leveling, which it already I think was. But Necro's got even better at leveling now because you just Corpse Explode everything. Crazy. And last but not least, the Witch Doctor. We kind of saw this coming. It's performing really well with the Mundanugu's Spirit Barrage build. Specters from the Phantasm Rune no longer benefit from pet bonuses. So basically this was like a bug that they had decided a long time ago was fine, that the Specters were counting as pets, and now they finally undid that. So this should make the build less strong for sure. Like you won't be using Enforcer with it and Mask of Germ and stuff, but I think it still keeps the build within a realm of strong results. So it shouldn't make the builds inconsequential, but it definitely bring it down to earth a bit because it's performing very well right now. And then a couple bug fixes. They fixed a rare issue where players could enter a locked party and become unable to enter games or change game settings. I've had that a few times this season, so that's nice to see. And then Necromancer, they fixed an issue where skeletal mages were not attacking certain creatures. So I guess a bit of an AI fix there. And there you have it, guys. I hopefully sped through this fast enough so this wasn't a super long video, but let me know in the comments. There's definitely some interesting changes. Let me know if you're happy with the direction they took the Demon Hunter and the Necromancer sets, how you feel these builds will stack up. We can kind of make some predictions before the PTR goes live and can see if those come true or not. Also, let me know what you think about the Season 21 theme, Trials of Tempests. All my opinions on this stuff is still rather knee-jerk at the moment, but I'm curious about the Demon Hunter set. I don't know that... I'm surprised that they didn't go in a direction of Chakram or Elemental Arrow. I'm very surprised by that. The Necromancer set seems interesting, but I can't really gauge it because I'm not a huge Necro player. And the seasonal theme seems kind of It makes me cautiously nervous. And I guess that's kind of where I stand with those. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys for sure on what you think they've done with this patch and PTR. And I guess we'll keep waiting until next week. We can go in and test it out, and I'll have more videos for you. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss those, because we're definitely going to have a lot to talk about in the next coming weeks. Until next time, everybody, have a good one. Thank you for watching.